So I'll introduce you first, okay?
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. I am Bonke the author, new wife, new entrepreneur, and new professor. Thank you, Brandy, for joining. So this is the thank you tour. So as you guys may or may not, and for all of you who are catching the replay, thank you for joining and thank you for double tapping the screen to give me hearts. I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for sharing this broadcast with your followers. So as you may know, we are nearing the 1-year anniversary of the release of my debut novel, Always Want More. In that year, we have sold nearly 1,000 copies, something that only 3% of all authors will do. And so I am completely honored to have my dad here today so that I can share him with you all. Hey, babe, thank you for joining. My father is amazing. He is an amazing parent. He taught me my work ethic. He taught me my love for excellence. He taught me how to go after what I want relentlessly. And so without further ado, I'm going to flip the screen so you guys can meet my pops for yourself. Say hi.
Hi.
So they can see you. We're live now.
Okay.
Okay. So a lot of my friends, they really respect our family. Trey says hi.
Hi. How's it going?
They really respect my family. And you know Candace, and she said that she really wants to sit down with you and know how is it that you were able to raise such amazing kids? What's the secret?
Well, to be honest with you, I think my main secret is trying to raise my kids the way I was raised. But I think what made it so successful was that I had a wife that was willing and always allowed me to be a dad for my kids. So when you have a partner and both of you are on the same page when it comes to your children, it's actually a lot easier to raise the kids and for them to be successful and do a lot better than you did. And that was the goal.
So you said you raised us the way that you were raised.
Exactly.
Can you give us some more details about that?
Well, you know, my parents were very strict, especially my dad. My dad was extremely strict, even though when I was growing up, let me just give you an example. When I was growing up, we have maids, we have servants, we have all that. But because I was the first child of my parents, my daddy did not allow me to take advantage of our servants, our maid, and all that stuff. He always tell me, you do things your own self. You want to eat, you go cook it yourself. You want your clothes washed, you go do it yourself. If you want to go somewhere, learn how to drive. You drive your own self. It's driver. We call them drivers here. You call them chauffeurs. It's not going to be driving you around to anywhere. So, when I was growing up, basically, I just learned to do things by myself and for myself and set some certain goals and try to reach it.
Trey's mom just hopped on and she said, hey, King.
Hi, how we doing?
So you mentioned that back home we call it drivers. Can you tell the people exactly where you're from?
Well, I'm from Nigeria. That's the west coast of Africa, and most African Americans in this country today, they came from West African countries too.
Yeah. So how old were you when you came to the States, and what brought you here?
When I came here, I was 22 years old, and to be honest with you, the main reason I came to the United States was because in those days, number one, you saw on TV, America is supposed to be really beautiful. You didn't know there was ghetto. You didn't know there was people who couldn't find no food to eat. But the main reason why I came was because I believe at that time that coming to America was the easiest place to get a college degree. So it was all about your education. Plus, my father went to Cornell, so that was a motivation for me too to get an American education.
So you left your whole family. You came to the States. Had you visited before you came?
No, I didn't know anybody.
So what gave you the bravery to do that?
Well, like I told you, I was raised, to face all kind of adversaries and to be focused, to have some goals. So I just told my parents I'm ready to go. I was 22 and I didn't know anybody, to be honest with you. And I just got on the plane and traveled from Nigeria to New York to Florida.
So imagine go back in time. You get here for the first time. What's going through your mind? What are you thinking?
Well, when I was when I was coming at the age of 22, all I was thinking was that the whole thing on my mind at that time was that you gotta be successful. You can't disappoint your parents. You can't go back home and don't have this degree. You gotta do the right thing. So my whole everything going on in my mind at that time was just don't disappoint my parents. That was the whole thing. I want to make sure I did something that would make them proud of me.
Erica is watching.
Okay, good.
Right. Dad said that I'm his favorite, Erica, so don't get on here starting no trouble, okay? So so you started in New York and then you went to Florida where you went to school.
Right.
And so you mentioned earlier that most Black Americans originate from West Africa, and obviously you're from West Africa, but what were your first impressions of Black Americans when you interacted with them for the first time?
That's a very good question, to be honest with you. I think, my first impression of African America was actually reflected through the people I saw on campus, mainly people that I admired on campus who were Omega Psi Phi fraternity people at the time. I didn't know they were fraternity. I just know some people, they wear purple and gold, they hang together on campus. I figured there was some degree of unity. And my impression of Black people at that time was that, don't forget I came here in the early 70s where you see all the Black power, the Afro and all that thing going on. So I just felt that Black people, they were united and they were doing things together at that time.
I'm going to flip it for 1 second, okay? Yeah. Thank you for all who joined. Forgive me for not greeting you all individually, but I am interviewing my father, the biggest influence in my life. So he is just sharing his experiences, what brought him to America, his impressions of Black Americans, his thoughts, his beliefs, and most importantly, how to raise amazing kids. Because I'm going to pat myself on the back. I think I have made my father proud. And so he's just going to share his advice on parenting. He's also in the criminal justice system. So this interview is going to be one that you absolutely want to stay tuned in for. Thank you guys so much for high respect, regard for parents, very different for Americans in general. We're going to get into that, so please hold that thought. Thank you guys so much for double tapping the screen to share hearts. Thank you for sharing this broadcast. Again, I am Banke, the author, new entrepreneur, new wife, and new professor, and I am sharing all of the amazing people who have made the success of my debut novel, Always Want More, possible. And my father, like I said, has been the biggest influence in my life. So if you like me, you like him. Okay? So I'm going to flip it back.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so.
Okay.
All right. So you said you raised your kids the same way that you were raised. So as far as being strict, is there any other advice you can give for the parents who are watching this?
Well, I think, parents, my main advice would be, you can love your kids, but be parents to them. Don't turn your kids to just friends. Love your kids as much as you can, but don't treat them as buddies, as friends, because you're not really friends. You're parents and your children. You love them, but keep that separation, even though you're united, but keep that separation going because you want the kids to know you are the parents and they are the kids. And it doesn't matter if you're 100 years old and they're 80 years old, you're still the parent, they're still the kids. That's the way I see it, and that's the way I roll. Let's put it that
way. One of my friends, Allie, she said we ain't equals because she has 3 kids. Right. So she agrees with you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to, so you're at the University of Florida. You see these guys in purple and gold. You just got to America, and you decide that you're going to do what?
Well, when I first saw those guys in purple and gold, I started, getting curious about who are they, why do they, on campus, they hang together and all this stuff. And that's when somebody told me, the fraternity, blah, blah, blah. And I like the fact that, they were well dressed. So that attracted me to that, and I said to myself, I'm going to pledge. And a friend of mine, who's still in Houston now. Carl Webster said, I can't, you don't know what you're trying to get into. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. You don't know the cues, man. You can't. It's tough. It's rough. As soon as he told me that, I said, okay, if it's rough, that's exactly what I want to do. Because it was, to me, I like challenges anyway. So I figure, if it's a tough fraternity, that's where I want to be.
So for those people in 2015 who don't understand the purpose of sororities and fraternities, what would you say to them?
Well, I would say to them, of course, fraternity has changed over the years. I would say to them, pick the one. If you're going to be a member of a fraternity, know why you're doing it. You must have a purpose and a goal. Don't just do it because you like their colors or you like what they do. Do it because you can contribute to the goal of your fraternity or any organization for that matter that you want to join. Make sure you can be a part of it, you can contribute, and you can be proud of what you did.
Okay, so I'm going to switch lanes here because can you tell the people what your title is?
Well, I'm a Deputy Superintendent for Programs for Wyoming Correctional Facility, which is in the town of Attica. That's what I do. So
you've worked for the prison system for how long?
I've been working now in another 7 days. It's going to be 31 years.
31 years spent with, and what's the whole department called?
New York State Department of Correction and Community Supervision. Because it used to be New York State Department of Corrections, but about 4 years ago we joined with parole. So we became one agency. So now instead of calling us New York State Department of Correction, now we're New York State Department of Correction and Community Supervision.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have spoke candidly before. So a lot of people see the criminal justice system, see the prison system as being a new way to enslave Black people.
Right.
So you as a Nigerian man, as a Black man, how do you feel working for that system?
Well, personally, because I work in the system, I have my own personal views about if the system is really a good thing or not. No question about that. But me, working in the system, my own personal achievement is that I know I have influenced a lot of people in the system, either both the inmates and the staff. And I have got hundreds of letters, even phone calls over the years of my ex-inmates thanking me for the influence I had in their lives. And I've always felt, if I can change one inmate, I've done my job. So I am proud in the sense that I was able to impact on them, that this is not the life to be. There's a lot of things they can do. Because it's a misconception to assume that just because somebody's an inmate, they're bad people. Some of them are there for circumstances beyond their control. So that's why I'm very proud that even now, when I contemplate retirement, I said to myself, I'm a deputy superintendent. I want to retire as a superintendent just to encourage a lot of staff to know that, that just because you're Black, you can get all the way to the top too. So in that respect, I'm grateful that I work in a department like this.
And it's easier to change the system from in the system.
Exactly. You change it in any little way that you can.
So recently, I think it's been 2 years now, you got your master's.
Right.
What made you go back to school so late in your career?
That's a good question. Well, I got 2 grandkids. Well, I got 3 grandkids. And to me, I kept saying to myself, number one, it's a promise that I made to my parents that I'm going to get an advanced degree. Secondly, I figure I got these grandkids. I need to show them, and even my children, I need to show them that age should not stop you. Nothing should stop you from getting an education. So that's one of the motivation that drove me to go and get my master's. I got my master's at the age of 64. But I was very proud of myself that I know I could do it. Even now I'm contemplating on doing a PhD. Not necessarily because I need it, but because I believe one day my grandkids are going to look at that wall. They're going to see those certificates. They're going to say, wow, Grandpa did it. I'm going to do it too. So it really is just to encourage the kids and the grandkids.
Right. Ms. Keisha said that you respect inmates as people.
Right.
And I think that's something that, and whether you're in the human services, the prisons, criminal justice, education, whatever, it's very important to see the people that you have authority over, to have respect for them.
Right.
Erica said that she went back to inspire her to go back. She said I should make everything about herself.
That's good.
That's why she's not your favorite and I am.
That's good.
So for those people who are adult learners, right, because you said you were 64 when you got your master's,
Right.
What were some of the challenges that you faced being an adult learner?
Well, one of the challenges you feel is that when you go to school at an older age, you're going to be with a bunch of students much younger than you. You got to be able to relate to them. You got to be able to come to their level, and you got to be able to see the world through their own lenses because they see things the way different from the way you see it. And you got to learn from their energy, and you got to be. You can. When I was in graduate school, I'm pretty sure I made more money than probably all my professors. But the issue is you got to come back. You got to come down to the levels of the students in the class, and you got to interact with them at your own level, where you're sharing your experiences with them and learning from them too. So that was very important to me to be successful.
Awesome. I'm gonna flip it for 1 second.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for all of your comments. Thank you for double tapping the screen to give me hearts, and thank you for sharing this broadcast. Again, I am with my father, the biggest influence in my life, and he's sharing his thoughts on so many different things. Excuse me, but right now I just want to thank him for what he has done for the Always Want More journey specifically, and then we'll keep the questions going. If you guys have any questions about anything that he mentioned, whether it's parenting, education, being an adult learner, migrating, being from Nigeria, if you have any questions at all on that, please comment with those so we can keep this as interactive as possible. For those of you who are catching the replay, thank you, and thank you for double tapping the screen to give me hearts. All right, Dad. So I just have to say thank you. Before the book came out, like you said, like the way that you are, you lead by example. And so, I've just watched you and how hard you've worked, how you've always done whatever you wanted to do. And so I always felt like I could do whatever I wanted to do.
Definitely.
Thank you for giving me the space to be myself. Being your youngest daughter, your favorite daughter. Thank you for not comparing. Thank you for not comparing me to anybody else. And just giving me the space to figure out what I wanted to do. I remember being younger and going with you and your friends to business meetings. And then you guys will always ask me, well, what do you think? That's one of the things that made me a critical thinker. I remember going to college with you. I remember being in your office. You always just exposed me to adult things. And that is what made me mature and what has made me so wise, I would say. And then when it came time for the book, you were one of my biggest donors to the project. You helped me sell tickets. You're always telling people about it. And so I just want to say thank you for all of your love and support. I couldn't ask for a better father. You are the best father in the world. As strict as you were, I didn't understand why we couldn't do certain things. I didn't understand why we didn't get money for getting all A's. But now that I'm an adult, I respect it. And I know I'll be the same way with my kids. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, me and your mom, we always knew that you're going to be a writer. Ain't no doubt about that. Because even as early as the age of 2 or 3, you were writing. And we always felt this guy going to be a writer. And I thought you were going to be a lawyer and a writer. So I'm 50% there.
So is there any other advice or anything else you want to share with people who are watching?
Well, the main thing is, have your goals and try and get it. Don't let anybody tell you can't do something. When I came to the department, I was a correction officer. And I said to myself, every 5 years, I got to make some kind of progress. So every 5 years, I get some kind of promotion. So, and I set my goal, and I said, I remember, when I was a correction officer, because a paramilitary organization, you have to take orders from people. And I had a sergeant who have no education. Because most people in security, anyway, they don't have no education, giving me orders. And I said to myself, wait a minute here, I'm not just going to be taking orders. I got to be able to give orders too. So, but what do I have to do to get there? So I started collecting information from people, what I need to do. And then part of what I need to do is to go back to school at that time to go get my degree in criminal justice. And then, after that, I said, I need to get a master's degree, So nobody can tell me, the more educated than me, mostly in the department. And even now, that I'm getting ready to retire, I'm still thinking about getting a PhD.
Right.
So if you set your goal, you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Trust me.
Keisha said, come on, she wants to get her doctorate degree too, so she wants y'all to do it together.
There you go.
All right, so I'm going to flip it back. I am Bonke the author, new wife, new entrepreneur, and new professor, and this is the thank you tour where I just have to highlight the amazing people and my family, my friends, and my village on my team who have made me who I am, who have made me a top author. In the top 3% of all authors, this book has sold almost 1,000 copies in 1 year. And so hearing my father speak in this way, I'm just laughing about certain things because when I went to college, I graduated a year early. It was just me and my dad. He was a single dad. And I came home and I said, Dad, I'm about to graduate. And he said, well, what grade are you in? I said, well, I'm in the 11th, but I have enough credits I can go. And he said, okay. I didn't go visit the school. I just went. When I wanted to transfer to University of Virginia, I just went. My sisters, Erica and Juliana, they have gone so far. We just go because certain things are just in our DNA. We are from a wonderful family, a Wupe too. Oh, you gotta tell people what my name means. Flip it back. What does Bonke mean?
Okay, Bonke means God help protect this child. Bonke, is like, when you got 3 daughters, your last one, normally you spoil the child. No doubt about that. So Bonke is a way of thanking God for protecting this child and for helping us do everything we can to spoil her. Basically, that's what it means.
Yep, very spoiled. And what about Awupetu?
Awupetu actually is an ancestral name. It's from my great-great-great-great-grandfather. And Awupetu means somebody born to be a leader, a pioneer, or the head of the clan. When I say clan, that's clan with a C, not Ku Klux Klan. Clan with a C-L-A-N. So Awupetu actually means somebody born to be a leader or a pioneer, somebody at the top.
Right.
That's what it means.
Alrighty. I'm going to flip it back. I'm not asking about your name. Eric doesn't asking what Sade means. Nobody cares. When you interview him on your Periscope, you can ask him about your name. You see how y'all trying to take over? But that's one of the things I had to ask him about my name. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just not letting you take over. I had to ask him about my name because my whole life I have been so well taken care of, from my parents to my siblings to everybody around me. And names have power. Words have power. Words have meaning. We speak things into existence. And even this thank you tour, like I'm thanking so many people who have come together to protect me, to spoil me, to help me, just like my father named me. And then as far as Awupetu being a leader, being a warrior, being a pioneer, that's who I am. Like I cannot fail. I come from a lineage of amazing people, both on my Nigerian side and on my Black American side. I am so honored for my ancestors on both sides. I can feel my grandmother's prayers. I can feel where I come from. I embody that heritage. So when I say I cannot lose, I can't. So now you guys understand why. You understand my boldness. You understand my audacity. You understand my confidence. Because like my dad says, that's how we roll. All right?
There you go.
So thank you guys for sharing this broadcast. Thank you for watching. I am Bonke the author. You can catch all these interviews on my YouTube channel, which is Bonke the author. Please go to my website. The link is in the bio. That is bonketheauthor.com. You can see photos from all these interviews on my Instagram page, which is also Bonke the author. Yes, I am spoiled. We're going to call it well loved. I love you guys and God bless.
Thank you.
Never lets me stop the